Hi, my name is Mara, and I'll be reading pages 1 through 10. Here we go. August 25th, 2024, 5th edition. June 22nd, 2024, 4th edition. April 9th, 2023, 3rd edition. July 31st, 2022, 2nd edition. An expanding treatise and theory of the funk, as provided by the funk, and for the funk as ourselves and itself, knowingly and lovingly, memories, memorials, and memoriams of influential and confluential junctions of convergence, divergence, parability, and beyond the infinite new, present, and Old Testaments of funk. A hitchhiker's guide to life, the universe, everything, and nothing. October 9th, 2022. Warning. Do not read any further until you are absolutely ready. This is irreversible. Again, warning. If you choose to read this, you will bear the burden to be what we become. This is irreversible. March 27, 2023. This is a semi-comprehensive collection of a completely incomplete series of thoughts and investigations whose entire purpose serves to be eventually completed by someone or something else, or not, and how it all comes together by its own experiences/non-experiences and unravelment. July 12th, 2023. Hopefully, to inspirit more comfort and well-being than to cause or influence any harm or suffering. January 30th, 2024. Though it has already caused both. November 17, 2022. Relax. Take your time and relax through it. Relax. 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 March 8th, 2023. More of you will read this sentence than those who will finish this entire treatise, and that's just the way it is and will be. It is a lot of words, concepts, and ideas, and, understandably, at times, a lot to digest. I would recommend taking your time and reading perhaps 10 to 20 pages a day. Much love to those of you reading this within and without our shared or absent experiences. Please contact me if you have any questions or would like to discuss any of this information. If I am still alive, I'll directly get back to you, and if not, indirectly. The funk provides. Again, warning. These words and other sources will lead you toward and away from the meanings of life, reality, existence, and beyond. This is irreversible. Something and or someone has to be and or no one and or nothing will/won't be something and or someone has to be and or no one and or nothing won't be everything. Monday, April 18th, 2022. Love you from before and beyond these pages of thoughts, words, and experiences. We are now further connected. What you are about to experience and are experiencing is only a small fraction of the observed results of questions, answers, and opinions about our existence/realities. Before you begin, here are most of the reviews from my first attempt at a public forum regarding the research and experiences you are about to explore, which is currently and always imperfect and in progress. Sunday, August 30th, 2020. Hello to/from page 263. April 21st, 22nd. Sunday, August 30th, 2020. Hello to/from page 263. April 21st, 2022, and page 300. October 7th, 2022, and page 302. Some of you have mentioned what I'm explaining to be slightly difficult to understand, and that is natural to learning anything. Here are some quotes from those who are/were able or wanting to figure it out. Successfully, numerically more positive than negative. I hope this assists your interest in my research of everything through communication and our influences upon each other within and without space and time. You have found a way to explain. You have found a brilliant way to explain how consciousness interacts with information. It reminds me of the Tao. I'm very interested in this info if you really do have what you claim. If you think a bit between the lines, you may find a meaning in what they say. Is this an advertisement for a Bandcamp album? This makes it seem almost like it's essentially just to embrace what we're doing in every moment. I trust in what dude has to say. Maybe it's just me desperately searching for some meaning, though. So the true meaning is to learn and put the knowledge into effect. Send an email. Looking forward to it. I like the way you think, Anon. 29 years isn't a lot, but keep going, baby. OP is a raging homosexual. August 12th, 2020. Reality has a unique and different way of unveiling, revealing, and translating itself to and transferring into and out of each of us and everything. What you are about to read are my observations and thoughts on how it has influenced myself and all others, that it has inevitably brought our attention to as we all together attempt to describe it, and how this information affects each of us when we are presented with it. And, much like many others who have explored similar quests and investigations, at first it may seem very confusing, to sometimes not make sense to the reader, or be too much, but becomes much clearer and understood the further you go and the more time I, you, we, and it are given to evolve and expand with this and all information, much like when learning a new language or skill. Do with this information what you will and won't, as you are now a part of it and can never be. Thank you for taking the time to connect and form your own opinion. Take care, and may the funk provide. December 4th, 2019. I would like to discuss the funk and or whatever time and experience have so far described it to be. You can stop reading now, or keep reading forward from here, or read it backwards starting at the end, or skip to a point in the middle, and you will still begin to further understand the funk. All will work just fine. March 15th, 2021. The important part is you have been further connected and are now becoming more aware of how everything has always been connected and is connecting you further. May 11th, 2022. Via Caravania, page 88. Hopefully you are sitting down or are comfortable, stable, and aware enough to read and at least attempt to understand, comprehend, and expand from your perspective of what I am about to share with you. You've got the time. We all have it at some point, and seemingly part of the point is now. If you're standing, you're probably going to get tired and rest. But that is just my assumption. You could potentially read all of this while standing, but I understand from my experience that I, and probably many others, wouldn't. Go ahead and try if you want, whatever helps you be comfortable enough to consider and question these ideas and to help us interpret information and expand upon this theory most proficiently. I am genuinely looking for your feedback and interaction, but you don't have to directly attribute it if you're up for it. I get it. You do you, as we each do. But again, I sincerely request you please attempt to be a part of this investigational experience, so to speak, as I deeply want your progressive input to be a part of it. Please keep in mind that this is a venture on into the unknown, and I am attempting to guide you/us through or towards the paths to our next destinations in the ways I currently know how and am able to, as well as what I don't know and am unable to. I understand that as a companion and individual, it is in your nature to eventually need to rest or to get off the ride and or add to it, or even desire to take the wheel. And I am requesting you constructively do all of these things in an attempt to understand how this ride works once you are off of it or out of it, and or ever giving someone or something else a ride, or not, into the future. Like Driver's Education 101, but with a much different vehicle, and we are all the students, instructors, etc. Because of what I've witnessed, learned, and experienced over time about existence, communication, philosophy, and everything in between, outside or relating to this theory and beyond, I, at times, may not know how to best describe all of this or relate it to you without potentially appearing to seem like a loony, or that I don't exactly or semantically know what I'm expressing, which I do and don't. I am learning how to communicate it to you in an attempt to gather more knowledge about it, especially over text, through technology and to the future, so I have to trust that everyone here as thinkers are deeply considering what I am saying, and you are able to perceive my tone as very calm, hopeful, and coming from years of thought and experience in an attempt to learn and educate, just as a teacher both teaches and also learns from their students, and then the students become the teachers, and so on and so forth. I am always open to input of any information to any degree. It is important to approach doxastic counter-beliefs and or normative counter-evidence defeaters and or advanced epistemic and or advanced epistemic knowledge leanings to progress such ideas and information further, and how to expand upon everything together most appropriately. From a young age, like many of us do, I found myself pondering and sondering it all to find the meaning or purpose of life, existence, creation, etc. And sometime around 2012, I decided to pursue into a deeper commitment to dedicate my study and attention to, in a way, figure out what it's all about. And this deeper philosophical experiment began. I'm doing my best to explain the ideas I've been constructing and or gathering in that study to everyone reading this. I felt then and continue to feel that gut/full body funk feeling, and even a calling to investigate into what I currently understand it means to connect and be with everyone and everything. So bear with me, please. And I apologize if what I'm saying is unable to translate well to you. I am using what the funk has provided me with so far, and it is within my ambition to further reach that universal understanding and ability to translate at larger degrees throughout history and guide us further beyond. I understand if this sounds a bit odd, because it all is, really. Literally, at the very moment I'm writing this, while figuring out how to express all of this information to you, the music by chance to be playing is titled, How Do You Feel? And I feel reality. I feel that funk feeling. And I'm thinking, as we all often do, and I'm still attempting to figure out how to express these thoughts to everyone and or everything, while at the same time most productively doing so semantically. And ironically, the next track is titled Beliefs, and these ironic coincidences or synchronicities continue to happen, as they do to all. But over time, I understand them more and more as I gather and have gathered all of this together. March 5th, 2023. The medium is the message. Marshall McLuhan. It is my observation that everything is connected through our experiences of being and doing. We are all here, right now, past, present, and future, living, experiencing, being, doing, verbing, etc. Much like a switch giving power to an object, our existence are currently in the state of on, and some sort of energy or a source of power or thing is providing us that experience of on because it is also on. If it were off, questionably so, such we, and everything else that exists as a result of this on would then be off or not. I call this whole expanding experience of on and everything within it and beyond outside of it, causing it to be on and be, or even to potentially and theoretically be off, to be called the funk. The all of everything and beyond, including nothingness. It seems influential string theory like wavelengths, similar to sound, energy, feeling, etc., have much to do with the experience as well as all the other senses and beyond, that all feelings and beyond, and or all experiences of funk can be applied to. Things need, have happened, and will happen in order for everything in this on to expand and grow and learn the experiences of being itself or not. Much like the theory of evolution, or even any advanced learning with or without technology, if given enough calculable or incalculable time and effort, things eventually advance, evolve, or acclimate in a way that life, existence, or funk needs them to currently and always be, and it will always and forever keep advancing and growing and expanding from everything that is happening, will happen, and won't happen, and the funk will gather that experiential data and apply it toward itself ad infinitum. Infinitely advancing both simultaneously and asynchronously within and without each instant of time, space, and beyond, and expanding fractal-like asymptote, expanding across an infinite Fibonacci sequence beyond macro and micro. I postulate that as time has passed and it is passing, we as those who exist within the funk and that which experience it are able to some way or somehow have learned or eventually will learn to connect deeper with itself through itself and learn from experiencing itself, because we have all existed within it and are able to eventually understand and extrapolate further the data and information in whatever form or way to each other and everything. And even everything that we won't or can't experience, something eventually will. Over enough time, experience, and study, observable patterns begin to show within everything. And if we, being whatever is existing at the time, learn to look for those patterns and learn to understand them, much like solving a puzzle or learning a new language, we within the funk expand from that information, and it is exponentially, statistically leads to whatever comes next, just by being and doing. And if we don't do or be, that is still a part of the process of everything, and eventually over time, some form of the funk will eventually do or be or achieve whatever connection needed to move on to the next non-connection. So it is objectively more productive to do than not, since not doing, when achievable, can still be considered an act of being done. Anything is mathematically greater than nothing, but nothing can still be a significantly immaculate amount. The funk will keep expanding from these doings, non-doings, and undoings, and our experiences within it until perhaps it, which only seems possible, can't, won't, or doesn't, and then with enough time and probability, or lack of, everything eventually will again and again and again, while also not, unless it doesn't. February 1st, 2024, so seemingly, here we are in a form and point of that process becoming further forms and points of these processes and beyond. Thus, I postulate each and every sound, smell, taste, moment, feeling, or creative construction of existence and beyond is a way of further communicating and connecting with the funk, as a form of quantum universal trans-interspecies being through metaphysical contact and communication via inter and outer connections of itself. That the funk influences you directly, indirectly, and beyond, and everything in it and perhaps out of it or without it, in order to advance itself through yourself and everything it has created or influenced into further, greater, and lesser being. An absolute balance of funk existence and non-existence, with each of us and everything being, at all time and space, simultaneously the center and the surroundings. Have you ever felt when listening to music or reading something or experiencing art or even a simple event of being or doing like eating or breathing that it was what you needed at that moment or that it was somehow about or relating to you? What if it is or was? And not just you, but you as in us, and the more than us, but as in it all. Everything and nothing, as what you and we are and eventually become and will always be and have been. Perhaps when you taste a strawberry, you appreciate that experience because it is becoming you, and in some way already is a part of your being and what you do and are. All of it. You, the strawberry, every particle, atom, wave, negative space, etc., coming together at that moment from the collective past and providing for itself an experience as the all and of the all. A funk. You can experience a strawberry because both of you have once metaphysically been each other as funk and now are each other, interacting and reacting again in whichever way you do or do not as funk and in funk. I acknowledge that you and I and everything are absolutely different as individuals. Individuality is important and integral for the gathering perspective and relative experience that then co-influences beyond the individual. So given enough time, eventually, as I propose, funk results in X, and X eventually results in the atomic structure of I and you. And with enough time, I eventually becomes you, and you become me, if not already, and in every infinite way. And we are us as each other and everything forever and ever, down to every particle of space and beyond, as both a collective and individuals units of funk. The units of infinity, both being both one and many all. This is currently what I can imagine to be our existence, though also potentially not. Collected ideas of the collective things within our current observable and unobservable existences. August 10, 2024, to clarify, the y'all forms of I and you are completely separate as individuals but can become each other as different variations forms of y'all, i.e. you can become I version 2 and I could become you version 983450. But I cannot become the truest absolute form of you and vice versa, as they are two completely separate forms of funk y'all. They could be the exact same to the atomic or quantum level, but would not be the same via Kairos, Chronos, or Carvanial position or location. I could theoretically gain the perspective of what it is like to be you or transfer my consciousness into you, but that would not make me you, as it would be a combined form of you and I. While potentially there are infinite versions of you and I, there is only one true you and I at every cardinal moment. As there is also one funk and infinite versions of. Like infinity, we are simultaneously a collective us comprised of many individuals and moments, and being able to even partially imagine this or that or any reality makes anything and everything even more possible or probable by influence. So even if I'm unable to explain to you the purpose of this whole experience together, we can observe one of the potential infinite meanings of the individual existence is to exist and to do/be what one can or can't do/be, and provide what one is able to and or not, and for all of us and everything as the funk, to expand and evolve from our data and experience of and from us doing and being all of these things that do and don't happen and or beyond, and as funk. To connect and expand with the funk through success, failure, anything, everything, and nothing, and to be and or not to be, and to do and or do not. March 15th, 2021. While failure is failure, it is also a form of progress. I put this idea into Google and failure is success and progress. Albert Einstein. I have observed that the more you connect with the funk, the subjectivity and or subjectively or objectively, I have observed that the more you connect with the funk, the subjectively and or objectively, more impactful value of that experience as it provides for itself and everything within, as do you, while sometimes not. And when we take this information and continuously attempt to apply it to each other and everything, we sometimes advance in whatever way it means for you or us and to the funk. Whether it be proactive and or reactive, positive or negative, constructive and or destructive, neutral or beyond. If you provide for it in a way it created you to, which you are doing right now, then it is in some way provides back to you, and additionally also does not. Whatever you do is in a way right for it, even it's seemingly wrong, as every right or wrong adds to the funk. And that is the exact information and experience it needed to adapt and exist as a balanced and existing funk and non-funk. Calculated and tested by you being what you are and anything and everything being what it is, who it is, where it is, why it is, when it is, and how it is. A digit and or digits in an equation attempting to work itself and themselves out. As we seemingly all appear to relate to, be doing, and are a part of, again by coincidence, chance or quantum form of randomness or random number generation. As I type this, the universal sound for an idea is ding ding from the desk bell can be heard. Also, as if the funk wanted me to know I was on the right track and should keep going. How can these coincidences be so improbable yet be happening to us every day all the time? Even a statistic of 0.0000000000000000000000000000001% and beyond is absolutely possible, no matter how infinitesimally small it may be. When it eventually happens, it then will have happened 100% and can never be not happened again, while also being completely known to not yet have happened or not and again. To our theoretical knowledge, all of the time has potentially already happened, and our existence is us, beyond individually and or also as a whole, experiencing everything as it is still happening. As we and time move forward, while simultaneously studying and learning from the backward or historical past, we find more and more information on how things seem to work and what everything is and is not. Unfortunately, our brains, though extremely powerful, are not yet perhaps as efficient as advanced technologies our brains have created, are creating, or will create, like calculators, computers, and the internet, or some advanced information, encyclopedia, or anything in the form of a storage tank of and for data and information or experience. Personally, I, as an individual, don't have omnipotent and or omnipresent access to all the information, so I am right now, and also currently at the present, your/our now, connecting these ideas into us to raise potential awareness in an attempt to become whatever is next. Perhaps more advanced machines or creatures of progress could potentially have these powers or abilities, which is why I would like to expand upon this incomplete theory with your input, perception, and understanding of it. Yes, you. I am asking you as a conscious part of the funk for your thoughts about itself and ourselves and the data of patterns and how to expand upon it successfully together. Whatever your response may be, and even the lack of, greatly influences our reality. So I guess my first big question is, if you have read what I've just written and been told about it, or are writing it, have written it, attributed to it, thought it, experienced it, or influenced by it in any way, whether it be by sound, smell, sight, taste, touch, memory, etc., either directly or indirectly or beyond, what are your examples of the funk being false and or true after this point of being currently aware and or connected to all of this data, information, and experience we have collected directly, indirectly, or other, and if so, how and or why? February 1st, 2024. What is your ability to translate or describe your understanding of the funk to yourself, myself, or another? A bunch of blah, blah, blah plays. After all the time to exist across existence, the aforementioned 0.000000 repeating 1% chance is this moment and all the moments preceding, before, and those following after those collective moments and beyond, then no longer can never not be or have not happened. Respond in whatever way makes sense to you, any and every way that you are able and unable to do. Everything that has ever happened has led to right now and beyond, and you are experiencing the event live as it happens and unfolds, even though it has not happened yet, but also happened and is happening again and again, right now and everywhere and when else, within and beyond your belief. I can personally say that for the most part, besides the moments of individual or shared universal suffering, I enjoy experiencing all of this data and information that we can closer share and connect as individuals or groups. And in effect, we directly and indirectly extend the reach and knowledge of the funk as a whole based off our influences that we attribute to each other. It is the opportunity to live and not live, to exist and not exist, to be and not to be, and what becomes of all of this and that from all of this and that, and what doesn't. Epistemically, we are within and without the moments of here and there, whatever that may be. We just don't quite know how or why yet. Hello, my name is Mara McGhee, and I read pages 1 through 10 of the Funk Treatise, and I've got some thoughts. So, first thing is that in general, I liked it. I liked what I read. I did not finish the whole thing, but I did like kind of getting into the idea of the funk and what it means and how it incorporates all of everybody and who we are and what we are to each other as human beings. I thought that was really, really cool. I also thought that there is when it came to reading it, I thought it was a little difficult to read at times, though, out loud. When we read, there's a way that you read in your head when you're not saying it out loud, and then there's a way to read things when you are saying them out loud. And so the way it was written with the slashes and the wounds, or no, slashes and like the parentheses and like what's italicized and bolded and what's not, or what's a directive and what's not. I did think that was a little bit confusing. Going through this, looking at it again, I wasn't sure if I should read everything or not. And I just read everything. So congratulations. And also, like when it comes to like dates and things like that, or, what's in brackets and like what is a quote and like the dates and all of that stuff was a little confusing. But again, I just read it again, or read it all. I did think that it took a little bit to get into. A lot of what I ended up reading was about what we are about to read. So it sounds like it was a lot of introduction of what was to come, as opposed to just getting right into it and digging into it. A little bit of the, some of the things that I thought was a little difficult to read was like, the slashes and things like that, but also like the everything / nothing / some things, just no things or anything. Like, I wonder if there's like a shorthand to kind of express the everything and all possibilities of it all, to really make it a little bit easier to digest and comprehend. Let's see, let me pause. I did feel like I learned a lot. I really did like the different philosophies that are incorporated, whether they're just quotes or whether they're, other philosophies and theories that are out there. I did like the incorporation of all of those. That was really, really nice and really cool to kind of see, and just kind of a really cool philosophy and thought experiment to incorporate all of these thoughts together and kind of remix it and make it your own. I should finish reading the whole thing. I did get through more than my 10 pages, but I didn't get through all 300 of this single space. Is it 12-point font? So It is thick. It is heavy with information. It is a lot to go through. So I am interested in seeing how this whole project wraps up and seeing, if there's any more additions coming out or if there's any more of this to see. So thank you for having me be a part of it. This was really cool. And I'm sorry it took me so long, but I hope that if you need more of this, please let me know. I'd be happy to. And I hope you're doing well.